Good morning, everybody. All right. I think we are about one after. We'll probably get started here. I know we had a few more people RCP than what's in here now, but they'll trickle in as we go. Um, so thank you, everybody. I know it's been a couple quarters since we've had a quarterly training event here. So we've got one going now. We'll have a more regimented schedule going forward. So we'll see them basically every 3 months or so as we kind of go forward through the rest of the year. So for those of you who don't know me, again, I've been with LPA for just over a year, but I know I have not had a chance to meet everybody. My name is Tyler. I'm the service manager here at LPA. Again, I've had a chance hopefully to meet some of you, maybe not all of you. So I wanted to at least introduce myself briefly as long as we're here on the call. And then we'll get into the agenda and talk a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today for the quarterly training. This one's going to be a little off the beaten path in terms of topics. We won't be going through anything very specific in terms of a specific thing like reporting, but we actually have some updates around the newest version of Counterpoint that just released that we wanted to talk through and go over with everybody. There are some sort of implications for this version of Counterpoint we think are very important. So we're going to talk about that here today. Additionally, I've got Dave here with me from the service team, so he's going to be doing a demo as well. So we're going to be talking about Counterpoint version 8.63. I put .x at the end. We're currently on version 8.631 is the newest version of Counterpoint, but by the time some of you actually get to upgrading to the latest version of Counterpoint, that last number may have changed. So again, we're going to talk about why this particular version of Counterpoint is particularly important or impactful. We're going to talk about some of the notable features and changes coming in 8.631 for everybody. And then we're going to kind of do a demo and a visual walkthrough of that version of Counterpoint that's currently out. Dave is going to handle that piece of it. So yeah, we'll get into it a little bit. Again, most people that we have, and probably everybody here on the call for the most part, is probably on some version of Counterpoint that's 8.5.7 or 8.5.7.2 probably being the most common. 8.6.3.1 was just released about a month ago. We do have a couple customers already on 8.6.3.1 with success, so that's really great. So we'll talk about why 8.6.3 matters. So the biggest reason for the change is there are going to be changes coming to the payment gateway. So you guys all process through the gateway of Secure Pay right now for taking credit cards. And that's going to be changing over the course of the next year and change, probably a few months. It's going to be changing and moving to a platform called Connected Payments. For some additional context, NCR, they have obviously other POS offerings for different segments of the market. Connected Payments is what a lot of their other point of sale offerings process through for a payment gateway. They are now moving to get Counterpoint in. Counterpoint actually, I think, is the last POS stage system that they are moving on to Connected Payments. So that change is going to be happening. Again, the current end of life date for Secure Pay is October of 2026. So what that means for all of you is that you will need to be on 8.6.3.1 or newer version of Counterpoint before October of not this year, but next year. It gives us a lot of time and a lot of time to plan. And certainly your account representative from LPA will be in touch to sort of coordinate and work through that with everybody. But that's why we wanted to talk about 8.6.3.1 and some of the features that it brings today in the training, just to be able to everybody get a little bit more information about it, since everyone should be using it sometime for the course of the next year. I do have some additional details around that change, but I have not necessarily included them here in the slides. I'm happy to answer any questions about this. We have, I would say, not all of the information in the world, but enough to kind of know what this transition is going to kind of look like over the course of the next year and a couple months. Again, for most of you, it's just going to be entailed in terms of a Counterpoint upgrade, right? You've probably been through those at one time or another. if you're a Counterpoint fixed fee customer with us, we cover one upgrade a year. With like that's included in your Counterpoint fixed fee. If you're not on Counterpoint fixed fee, then we build time and materials or put a quote together for the time it takes to do that upgrade. So that's kind of the update there on why. So that is the biggest reason as to why you would need to upgrade. As far as like what features and changes are coming with this, Dave is going to kind of show off later the updated user interface. So they've kind of changed around the way that the menu looks and to try to bring it into a slightly more modern look, and also to align with NCR's new branding. They are NCR Voix, and they've got some more purple in there, things like that. Dave's going to also cover, I think, some of the customizations that exist inside of that. And I don't think you have to keep the stock standard colors that are in Counterpoint. So there's some updated user interface. That's one thing we for sure wanted to cover, since everybody will be seeing that menu, and we don't want anybody to sort of be in shock if they open up 8631 and see that things are either in a different spot or look completely different. The next thing that 863 also brings is PCI out of scope for manual credit card entry. So they've updated how manual credit card entry works in versions 863 and above. When you go to do manual entry, if you ever need to do that inside of Counterpoint, it's actually going to sort of take you to an external secure web link to enable you to enter the payment information in a PCI out of scope manner. So again, the implications here are that Counterpoint now has a way to take manual payment with and additionally stay PCI out of scope, which is really great for those security purposes. So there's some updates there which are really great. 863 also is adding a ton of back end into Counterpoint for upcoming tools and features that are coming down the line in further versions and releases. So one of the big ones is they're currently developing and should have soon completed sort of an analytics tools offering that, again, most likely will be there will be some cost to the consumer if you want to use it, but it will essentially be able to take a look at your Counterpoint database and provide you with some more robust reporting and analytics tools to better, parse your data and take a look at things that are not stock standard in Counterpoint. So that's the back end for that is coming in 863. So you will need to be on that version or above if that's something that you end up wanting to take advantage of. We certainly will be letting everybody know once we have a release date for that and those analytic tools. And additionally, connected payments, all the back end for the payment stuff is also in there as well. So I know I talked about it briefly before, but there's also some new features that are coming with connected payments. Because this is a payment gateway change, it opens up some additional opportunities for things related to credit card and EMV devices. So one of the new feature sets, as an example, is going to be phone number input for loyalty. So you'll be able to prompt your customer, on the agenda code to input their phone number if you have a loyalty program, and then Counterpoint can scoop that phone number up and associate a customer onto the ticket for you. They're also going to start offering a wider selection of payment devices with this gateway. They have not said specifically what those might be, but we will have even more payment devices available that will work with connected payments versus with Secure Pay. They're also working on some additional features as far as EMV devices and feature sets and capabilities with those as well that they have not necessarily announced, but those were some of the big ones that were on the list. So there's a lot of back end and a lot of things sort of setting up for some improvements to the payment processing, as well as some new tools and integrations. I know there's also some backend for integrations into QuickBooks for accounting as well. They've made some changes and made some upgrades there too that I did not put on this list, as I think they are not necessarily 100% complete yet, but those are also coming. So there's a ton of benefits coming in 863. There are also, I didn't put them on here, but a very long list of updates and bug fixes. There were a couple things in the 8572 that were long-standing sort of open issues with the user interface that have been fixed with the new menus. Access violation errors, if you run into those, a lot of those have been corrected and cleaned up, which is really great. And additionally, they also have fixed a longstanding sort of issue with .NET that was causing some weird white screens and stuff like that too. Again, this is stuff that a lot of folks may not have run into, but we've got a lot of bug fixes as well in 863. And I'll say in our initial testing, LPA's had 863 and 8631 and has been testing internally for about a month and a half. And we have been really, really happy with it so far. We haven't run into any major issues. Again, we've got customers already live on 8631 and they've had no issues so far, which is really great. So those are some of the features that are coming with 8631. I'm going to pause there before I hand it off to Dave to do the demo and just open it up for questions, because I know I've kind of dumped and downloaded a lot of information here in the first even just 10 minutes here. So are there any questions right now about any of the stuff around 8631? Okay. It looks like nothing. Again, if you do have a question you think of later, whatever it is, just throw it in the chat. Happy to answer them at the end. Raise your hand, whatever it looks like, and I can certainly answer any more questions that you might have about what the transition might look like, or any other questions about the latest and greatest version of Counterpoint. All right, with that, Dave, if you want to share your screen and walk through what you want to walk through for 863 and kind of show off what it looks like and some of the feature capabilities, that'd be great.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, good. Sometimes these big meetings, they all get muted out. Yeah, let me share my screen. Only meeting organizers and presenters can share. Can you make me presenter?
Hayden, are you able to promote him to a presenter?
Yes, I'm going to do that now.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm still not able to share.
You know, it's like Dave, I'm trying to find you on the list. There we go. All right, how about now, Dave?
Hey, it looks better. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, Counterpoint did come out with a new user interface. It's really the same structure. All your flows the same down here. A little bit different. You used to collapse. They no longer do. But all the flow is the same. You have a home button here. It'll take you all the way back to the home screen. If I'm down a level, there's a back here. It'll take me back. They went with a gray colors here. Mainly the difference here is the color change, and they've expanded these. You still have your ability to set favorites and do searches over here. And if this menu throws you guys a bit when you say this is supposed to be very modern, we do have another option with us old timers are moving to, which gives you a little bit more color by changing. See if I can get that up here. A lot of our people are using this. It gives you a little bit more colorful buttons by changing out the images on those buttons. But other than that, not a huge change here. This is the second time they made a user interface. The first time when they went to those kind of green colored screens, that was a radical change. This is a minor change. The only other thing, so yeah, I don't think this will throw anybody. It hasn't thrown anybody yet. I want to say we've got about 5-6 people right now running the current version of Counterpoint, and we're going to start hitting a bunch more. The other thing that Tyler talked about is credit cards. And now he talks about out of scope. I always think that sounds weird. What do you mean they're out of scope? What that means is that the software doesn't do anything with credit cards anymore. So the software you don't have to worry about being PCI compliant on the software. Now, however, those credit card machines that you have there and the network going up to them, they still would need to be PCI compliant in that network. But it takes all your servers out on the cloud and all that. Um, we don't have to worry about PCI compliance. Okay. With that change, one of the biggest problems they had with PSI guys is if you don't have a Ingenico, if you're Ingenico, you're golden no matter what, or a credit card reader. But if you don't, and you want to do manual entry, that box you get up, if people know this, you can key in the card number. That is out of scope or in scope because you're actually keying in a credit card number. So there is a change to manual entry. I'll show you that. So now you're going to get a box like this. Not that big of a difference, but you're going to get like a web browser, kind of like if you're on a website, where you're going to key in the card number, expiration date, CVV, and below here, if I had address verification turned on, you'd have more fields. For example, most people would just use zip code. You'd have a put a spot in the zip code. You will also see this if you're going to put a customer card on file. You get the same dialog box up, which is different than what you're used to, but it keeps us out of that PCI problem. And Tyler, unless there's questions, that's all I really had to show you. Like I say, not a huge change in here, but it will. We just want to show you ahead of time what it's going to look like, and you can decide whether you want to put any pictures on or not going into your upgrade.
Yeah, the only other thing I was gonna have you show, if you could, was just some of the different options and settings that exist for these the different menu things in here. I think there's the menu utility, right, that lets you change things around in here.
Yeah, it doesn't make it. You can change some of the colors, but as you see, there isn't much colors anyways. There is a utility. We usually run that for them. See if I can dig it out here. It's under. This has actually always been around, just no one's ever known that it's there. Bin directories, UI utility. This will allow you to make some minor color changes, but you say, so if I change out of purple here, it's only going to affect these boxes up here. You can change fonts right here. You can change the size of your buttons right here. And we usually touch up after the fact. One we're using a lot from is on the touchscreen. If you have white verbiage, sometimes it has a hard time showing it up. So we'll change the white to black, or we can change it to everything. Kind of a bulk change to colors inside of Counterpoint. Generally speaking, though, LPA will do that for you. If you say, hey, I want my buttons bigger, or we'll look at, we think the buttons inside a touchscreen are hard to read, we'll make some adjustments to that on the upgrade.
Perfect. So yeah, again, that's most of what we wanted to show off as far as the demo goes. Again, just to make sure everybody can see, hey, what are things going to look like? What are some of the customization options available to for, some of the things on the menus as they make the change. Obviously, you can see that they've gone to the all new sort of NCR Voix sort of branding. So, with that, I think we're happy to open it up for any questions about 8631, about the transition that's going to be coming over the course of the next year and a half or so, right? We're going to be needing to upgrade everybody to 8663. One right now is the current version, but it'll probably, that number may go up as they introduce new releases. And then if there's anything else too that you guys haven't have questions about, even not related to 863 or Counterpoint in general, that's what we want to have this time in this forum for as well. Again, as we head into the further parts of the year, these are going to be a little bit more technical than this, but we wanted to make sure we got messaging and word out about these upcoming changes sooner rather than later. So the next, in 3 months from now, we'll have much more technical training on some pieces in Counterpoint in, what is it? It's June, so probably September, and then one right before the holidays. So open up for any questions. If you want to unmute and ask, otherwise raise your hand or throw them in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer anything you got.
Hi Tyler, it's Michelle from Wine Beer and Spirits.
Hey.
Hey, question. Is this gonna require an on-site tech to come out, or is this just something you guys can download to us?
In almost all cases, we do this stuff remotely. So we're able to do the upgrade remotely. Again, depending on if you're a cloud hosted customer or not, things change like around a little bit. But as long as we have access to the servers that we need to, all that stuff should be able to be done from here. And then we generally just coordinate with you on time, right? Time and date, all that kind of stuff to make sure that we're doing it during the least disruptive time possible. We always do it after hours for you guys. Because of the number and the volume of these that we're going to be doing, we are probably here at some point over the course of the next couple of months going to be sending out some communication around planned dates to do these. We are going to try to do them on a couple days of the week that are the least impactful. Usually we like to do Sunday nights and then sometime like a Wednesday night. So we'll send out some information, probably some sign-up sheets to try to reserve some dates. Given the number of these that we're going to do, we're likely going to have to do quite a few. So excuse my cat as she would like to participate in the meeting this morning. But yeah, we'll be sending out some sort of sign-up sheets for dates for some of this, but in a lot of cases too, we'll coordinate more specifically if some of those dates or times don't work. Again, we've got businesses that are open all kinds of different hours, so we just need to find a time and a date that you guys aren't open that we can do that. Maybe that next day, if we run into any issues with the upgrade, that we can get them rectified right away in the morning before you open.
Thanks.
Yeah. Other questions at all this morning? It doesn't sound like much. So we'll go ahead and conclude for this morning. Again, thank you everybody for coming by. Again, we'll have the same sort of cadence in 3 months from now. We'll be sending out some information a couple weeks ahead of time to RSVP. Again, the next couple of trainings are going to be a lot more technical. But again, we wanted to get some word out. So if you have any questions or you need anything, please reach out. Don't hesitate to call the service line if you got issues at all. Otherwise, if you're curious about upgrades and take 631, your account rep is probably the best spot. For most of you, that's going to be JC, though some of you that might be Zan or Mike. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you're curious or want to get the ball rolling at looking at getting upgraded to the latest version of Counterpoint. If you want to try to get ahead of things, again, the hard cutoff date is going to be currently end of October of next year. So the biggest thing is if you wait, and push up to that deadline, the biggest fear is that you may get in a spot where if we don't get in time, that taking credit cards will be a challenge. So make sure to reach out, but we'll also be reaching out. We're currently trying to get everything planned and ready to go. So you're sure you'll be hearing from us, but if you want to get that ball rolling sooner, please just reach out. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their Thursday. Hope everybody has a great 4th of July holiday. And yeah, please just reach out if you need anything. Thanks, everybody.